Good morning, grade 8 students. How are you? Good to hear that all of you are fine. Before you take your seats, please pick up the pieces of papers on the floor and throw it in the trash can. Also, please arrange your chairs properly. Thank you so much. You may take your seats now. Okay, students, make sure you are in your proper seats because I will check your attendance according to the seat plan. That's great. Everybody's present for today's discussion. And now, last meeting, I gave an assignment. So please bring out your assignment and exchange it with your seatmate. Don't forget to write corrected by with your name and your signature. Okay, so kindly read the directions. Thank you. So let's check. Here are the answers. I believe you're all done checking. So remember, 2 points for each correct answer, a total of 10 points. Write the score over total number of items. After writing the score, return the notebook to the owner. Please be quiet while your score is being recorded. Very good, students. Most of you got the highest score. Let's give yourselves a round of applause. Okay, last meeting, we discussed about probability and some words with special meaning. Am I right? Now, to check if you still remember our lesson last meeting, as you can see on my slide, we will have a game. I will present some pictures, then identify what letters should be put in the blanks to complete each word. So again, the mechanics of our game, guess what letters should be put in the blank to complete each words. And each correct answer carries 1 point. Remember, no searching for answers online. And have fun. So students, are you ready? So I believe you are ready. So let's proceed to the first one. Identify the letters that complete the word. So what's the word that linked to the picture? You're right. That is probability. So probability is a measure or estimation of how likely it is that an event will occur. And now, let's proceed to the second one. So what do you think is the word? If your answer is experiment, then you are correct. Experiment is a repeatable procedure with a set of possible results. So example of the experiment is throwing a die. So we can throw a die again and again. So it is repeatable. Okay, next item. So identify the letters that complete the word. So what's the word that linked to the picture? That's right. It is outcome. So when we say outcome, it is a possible result of an experiment. So what is the total outcome if I repeatedly throw a die, and what are those outcomes? Thank you so much. It is 6 and the outcomes are the following. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay, for the last item. So what do you think? So what do you think the word that linked to the picture? Yes, it is a sample space, where in sample space are all possible outcomes of an experiment. Okay, so thank you so much for your participation. I am so happy since you remember our lesson last meeting. And before we continue with our discussion last meeting, let us do first an activity. So we will have 2 groups. On the right side will be the group A, and group B will be on the left side. So form a circle in your group so that it would be easy for you to collaborate with each other. So please transfer silently and don't disarrange the chairs. So the activity is called Budget Matters. And I have here 2 envelopes, and one for the group A and one for the group B. So the envelope consists of illustration inside and the directions, like what you see on the slide. So use the illustrations to answer the following questions correctly. We have here 4 questions. First one, how many shirts are there? How many pairs of short pants are there? How many pairs of long pants are there? If you will attend a party, how many choices are possible? And choose a leader for each group to report your work. You have 5 minutes to do the task. Your time starts now. Time is up. Are you done, class? Alright. All leaders, please prepare for the presentation. Let's start with the group A. Very good, group A. Let's give them a round of applause. And now it's your turn, group B. Excellent. Let's also give them a round of applause. So what can you say about our activity? I'm glad that you enjoy our activity. Because just like your classmate said, it is what you usually do, pairing your shirt and skirt or pants to have a nice outfit. Now, you will know the connection of our topic. Rather, you will know the connection of our activity to our topic today. And for today's lesson is all about probability of simple events. But before anything else, I would like to expect that you will be able to achieve the following objectives. The first one, determine the probability of simple events. Second, identify the probability of simple events through a given sample events. And the third one, solve real-life problems using the principles of counting techniques and probability. So students, what do you think of our objectives? Is it achievable? Yes, it is. In continuation of our lesson last meeting, we clearly discussed the concept about experiment, outcome, sample space, and the probability itself. And let's go back to our topic. So have you at a certain time asked yourself the following questions? What are my chances of getting the correct answer in a true or false type of question? Multiple choice types of question. Should I bring my umbrella tomorrow? These questions will be answered by your own as we go through with our lessons. So as we know that the probability of an event is a number from 0 to 1, which tells you how likely the event is to be happen. So in order to solve probability word problems, we must know first the formula. So the given formula is probability of an event is equal to number of favorable outcomes over number of all possible outcomes. So how to solve probability word problems? We have here 4 steps. The first one to solve probability word problems is to identify events for which probability is to be determined. Second, calculate the total number of possible outcomes. And the third, calculate probability of each event. And the last step, add probability of each event if it is required. So we will going to use all of these steps later. So remember those steps. So let's proceed to the 4 rules of probability. The first rule is the probability of any event is number, either a fraction, a decimal, or percent. So between including 0 and 1. So yung example natin dito is, the weather forecast shows a 70% rain. So probability that will rain is equal to 70%. Let's proceed to the rule number 2. If an event will never happen, then its probability is 0. Example is when a single die is rolled, find the probability of getting an 8. In this situation, a die contains 6 faces, and each face contains a number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Since the sample space consists of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, it is impossible to get an A. Hence, the probability of getting an A is equal to 0. The third rule, if an event is sure to happen, then the probability is 1. For example, when a single die is rolled, what is the probability of getting a number less than 7? Again, a die have 6 faces, and each face contains a number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So you can write probability of getting less than 7 is equal to 1. The rule number 4, the sum of the probabilities of all outcomes in the sample space. And that would be all of the probability rules. So you already know the formula in solving probability in simple events, the steps in finding probability word problems, and the 4 rules of probability. Now, let's do some example. Example number 1. A box is filled with cubes of different colors. There are 40 white cubes, 24 green, 12 red, 24 gold, and 20 blue cubes. If you have to select a cube without looking into the box, what is the probability that you will pick a white or a blue cube? So sabi sa problem, may isang box na may iba't ibang kulay na cubes. Merong 40 na white, may 24 na green, 12 na red, 24 na gold, and then 20 na blue. So kapag hindi ka raw titingin sa box, ano raw yung probability or possibility na ang makukuha mo ay yung white or blue cube? So we will use the given steps on how to solve probability word problems using the given formula. So step 1, identify events for which probability is to be determined. So ano nga ba yung hinahanap natin sa given problem? So step 1, we have to pick a white cube and we have to pick a blue cube. Ano yung probability na alinman sa dalawa ang makukuha natin sa loob ng box? So proceed tayo sa number 2. Step 2. Calculate total number of possible outcomes. So i-add lang natin lahat ng bilang ng cubes. So yung bilang ng cubes natin is 40 plus 24 plus 12 plus 24 plus 20. So merong 120 na cubes sa loob ng isang box. So proceed tayo sa step 3. Calculate probability of each event. So since ang hinahanap natin is probability ng white or blue, so magkakaroon tayo ng dalawang formula. Isang formula para sa white at isang formula para sa blue. So para sa white, probability of getting white, meron tayong numerator na number of white cubes over, or I mean the denominator, which is the total number of cubes. So yung total number of cubes natin kanina ay 120. And yung number ng white cubes is 40. So probability of getting white is equal to 40 over 120. So sa blue naman, ang blue natin, ang total number of blue cubes ay 20 over yung total number of cubes natin ay 120. So proceed tayo sa step number 4. Add probability of each event if it is required. So add lang natin yung probability ng white at blue. Kasi ang hinahanap natin ay probability na makakuha tayo ng white or blue. So ang magiging formula natin ay i-add natin yung white at blue. So 40 over 120 plus 20 over 120. And that will become 60 over 120. So let us get the lowest term or the simplest forms. Since kayang i-divide ng 60 at 120 sa 60, which is yung kanilang common factor, so let us divide 60 over 120 sa 60 over 60. So therefore, the probability that you will pick a white or blue cube is 1/2 or 1 over 2. Okay, so another example. In a box, there are 20 balls numbered from 1 to 20, If a ball is drawn from the box, find the probability of getting a number divisible by 3. So for the solution, gamitin ulit natin yung given formula. So sa step 1, identify events for which probability is to be determined. So ang hinahanap natin is probability in getting a number divisible by 3. Proceed tayo sa step number 2. Calculate total number of possible outcomes. So sabi dyan sa problem, there are 20 balls numbered from 1 to 20. So ang total number of possible outcomes is 20. Proceed tayo sa step number 3. Calculate probability of each event. So gamitin natin yung formula na probability of getting a ball. So ano nga ba yung mga numbers from 1 to 20 na divisible sa 3? So we have 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, and 18. So lahat yan ay divisible by 3 o lahat yan ay kayang i-divide sa 3. So gawin na natin yung formula. So since meron tayong 6 na numbers from 1 to 20 na divisible by 3. So 6 over 20. Okay, so for the step number 4, add probability of each event if it is required. Since ang hinahanap natin ay isang ball which is divisible by 3. So gamitin natin ngayon yung nakuha natin kanina, which is 6 over 20. And then, get lang natin yung lowest term and yung common factor nila. Least common factor ng 6 at 20, which is 2, since parehong kayang i-divide ng 2. So therefore, the probability of getting a ball that is divisible by 3 is equal to 3 over 10. Because 6 divided by 2 is equal to 3, and 20 divided by 2 is 10. So another example, if a letter is to be selected from the word millennials, find the probability that the letter is consonant. So again, gamitin natin yung steps. So ang hinahanap natin ngayon, proceed tayo sa step number 1, identify events for which probability is to be determined. So ang hinahanap natin ay consonant letters. So proceed tayo sa step number 2. Calculate total number of possible outcome. So ang gagawin natin, bilangin lang natin kung ilang letters meron sa word na millennials. So that is 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11. So we have the total letters, which is 11. So step 3, calculate probability of each event. So gamitin natin ngayon yung ating formula. Probability that the letter is consonant is equal to consonants over total letters. So meron tayong given consonants sa word na millennials. Ito ay ang M, L, L, N, N, L, and S. Dahil ang A, I, E ay kabilang sa vowels. So lahat ng nakasulat sa slide ay consonants. Isulat natin yung mga letters kahit nauulit dahil ang pinagbabasehan natin ay yung word na millennials. So meron tayong 7 na consonants and over 11, which is the total letters of the given word. Okay, so for the step number 4, add probability of each event if it is required. So since ang hinahanap lang natin ay isang letter which is consonant, and then hindi na natin kailangan pang i-lowest term or hanapin yung LCD ng 7 at 11 dahil wala silang common factor. Therefore, that is the final answer, which is 7 over 11. And that would be all for our discussion. I believe naintindihan nyo na ang ating naging lesson ngayon. At dahil dyan, you are going to apply what you have learned on our discussion. So we have here 3 problems, which is there are 20 marbles in a container, 4 are red, 5 are blue, and 11 are yellow. What is the probability that a blue marble will be picked? Second, the local weather forecaster said there is a 20% chance of rain tomorrow. What is the probability that it will not rain tomorrow? The third problem, Arlene Joy got coins from her pocket which accidentally rolled on the floor. If there were 8 possible outcomes, how many coins fell on the floor? So I need 3 volunteers to answer those problems in front. I know you can do it. Very good, students. Now, let us now summarize what we have learned about this lesson. As a recap, probability is a branch of mathematics that deals with uncertainty. It is a measure or estimation of how likely it is that an event will occur. And also, the probability of an event is a number from 0 to 1, which tells you how likely the event is to be happened. And also, napag-usapan din natin kung paano natin solve ang mga word problems. Using the formula, probability of a simple event is equal to number of favorable outcomes over number of possible outcomes. And the steps on how to solve probability word problems. First one, identify events for which probability is to be determined. Second, calculate total number of possible outcomes. Third, calculate probability of each event. And fourth, add probability of each event if it is required. Now, who can give an application of probability in our daily life? Yes, you're right. We can apply the concept of probability in making our decisions in life. Just like study harder to get a perfect score in the exam. In this situation, you could expect a perfect score, which means the probability is 100% or 1. So it seems like all of you are listening well to my discussion today. Do you now understand our topic today? And that's great. Is there any questions or clarifications? Oh, none? Are you sure? Alright, since no questions or any clarifications, I will give you a 10-item test to see if you really understand our lesson. For your assessment, kindly group yourselves into 4, since you are 20 in this class, 5 members each. Please form a circle, and for the direction, I prepare here a card consists of word problems about probability. That was 10 cards, so there are 10 word problems. It is also flashed in the PowerPoint presentation or in my slide. So understand carefully the problems and write the correct answers on a one whole sheet of paper. I will give you 15 minutes to accomplish the activity. If you're ready, the time starts now. Time is up. Exchange your papers to the other group. Let us check your answers. So I will flash the answers. So how many correct answers did you get? If you get a perfect score, then excellent. Congratulations! And that would be all for our discussion. And now we are finally done with our lesson. We can now proceed to our next topic next week. And for your assignment, answer the activity number 8, count and answer, on page 572 of your Mathematics Learners module to master your skills. And also, study in advance about independent and dependent events. And that would be all. So let's call it a day, students. See you next meeting. Goodbye!